Hey everybody, welcome to American Courts. Lena's asked me if I'd do something in the kind of a pregame to, I guess, set it up to where the show starts on time and everybody's not just standing there looking at a blank screen. So thank you, Lena's, for the idea. Fozzie had twisted tomorrow morning some drone video, so he got that. We're going to raid Drunk Beaver at the end. He's got an interesting court case he's going to put on at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I don't know what that is for the rest of y'all. 9 p.m. Eastern is the best I can give you. Y'all can figure it out from there, because if I try to do the math, it's going to mess it up. Thank you all for coming out, and it's good to see everybody there. Michael Roberts, Nancy, Nan, Mike, we got Michael again, Emily, KK, Linus, Donald, Kay. Thank you, everybody. We got Judge Middleton and some a news clip. I'm trying to get Victoria to weigh in on the news clip, so I'm gonna play the Middleton clip first, and then we got an interesting Thurston County one again. I was trying to get it on the other day, but it was we didn't have enough time for it. So, all right, here we're gonna go on to Middleton
Dance. This one, 662, is in my queue now. Laura put it in there. And you admitted to taking some item. Then after this, you had some other things going on. I set the matter for sentencing today. And here we are. You posted a $100 bond in this case. Ended up on Facebook and social media, and everybody had an opinion about it. What would you like me to know, Mr. Gibson?
When we were here previously, when she did the plea, the court, I think, inquired if that she had any documentation to show that she had taken apparently one of her children to the Center for Health and Wellness on that same day. And so she did present today, it looks like a one-page medical record from Center for Health and Wellness dated January 9th, 2024 for one of her children.
Well, she said that they went by ambulance, in fact, hadn't they?
No, I went by ambulance that night to a mental facility because this completely destroyed my family.
And so if the court, I can provide the court the medical record if they want, if the court needs the medical record.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Now, as far as the case goes, there appears to be, her version is that, it was an accident, and that the police report indicates that they didn't see her talking on a phone. And so that, I think it's implied that she intentionally, stole this. But, as the court already is aware, she did, suffer a lot of emotional distress over this when it was posted on Facebook. And, I think that sometimes maybe younger people, I think, that can even be a bigger deal. I think, social media tends to be more important for the younger you are. But I do believe she obviously had a lot of stress from it. So if we're talking about, punishment and reformation of the offender, I think that this incident has caused her a lot of stress to where I hope she's going to learn from this. And I think she will hopefully tell the court she will. So I would ask the court to consider fines and costs and potentially community service or probation. But I would ask the court to, refrain from sentencing the defendant to any jail time for this. I believe she understands that this was something that, she made a terrible mistake, and it's my understanding that after this happened and it was posted on Facebook, that she did have, I think, a friend or family member of hers contact the store to see if she could possibly either return the item or pay for it right, at that time. And, they indicated that they were just, that they were pressing charges and they didn't want to take the payment or anything, but she did try to resolve it, because I think part of the reason why this caused her so much stress is, it's my understanding, before this happened, she was like a regular customer at that store.
That's what the owner said.
And felt that she had, a relationship with the store. So I think, so I would ask the court, as I say, to provide a sentence that takes all this into account. Thank you.
Did you spend a night in jail?
No, that night, when it came about and I realized what had happened, I had checked myself into a mental institution. The amount of Facebook criticism that I got, it didn't just affect me, Judge, but it affected my kids, my family. I mean,
did they actually post the footage of the incident on the?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was under.
We've got Kleenexes right there.
I felt like I was on trial on Facebook. I mean, I got so many shares, and my kids had to endure that at school. And it was completely out of character for me. And I feel like just this past year has just been a downward spiral.
Well, let's see if we can stop it. I've got to do the sentencing next week on the other case. But you posted a $100 bond. It's a first offense retail fraud. I understand that the owner was angry. But yeah, in a world we live in now, a lot of stuff gets posted on social media and it takes on a life of its own. You owe $54 and $125 in costs.
Okay.
And how much is that? Is $179. And the attorney fee will be $11. Mr. Gibson certainly did $21. Total is $200. You posted $100 of bond, so you owe $100. The restitution will come out of the bond, so Ms. Hitt will get paid forthwith. I'm going to give you until November 6th.
Thank you, your judge.
If you need more time, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Now, there you go.
Thank you.
Now, this deal about the treatment relates to which case?
The treatment, after it came about to where I realized what had happened, I had put myself into a mental institution on 2 different occasions.
Yeah, okay, you told me that,
and I had submitted documentation to my lawyer indicating what dates that I was there.
I got it. Because this occurred January 9th.
Yep.
So here, fast forward to the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
I started when I was the prosecutor an embezzlers treatment group.
Okay.
And I was very proud of it. And I continued it when I was judge. There's a category of property offenders, retail fraud, embezzlement, many of which are women. Mm-hmm. Who have a compulsion to steal as a result of childhood trauma. And they're walking around with all kinds of baggage, and it results in, as adults, stealing stuff. So you would have been a perfect fit for our embezzler treatment program, but it died on the vine because the circuit court quit using it. Everyone quit using it after it lived for a while, but Anyway, there's a new charge that you haven't been arrested or arraigned on yet.
Mhm.
File number 241481 alleges that on or about July 4th, you were at the Walmart store in Three Rivers and you took something and skip scanned it. If I never saw another skip scan, it'd be all right with me. Allegation is, this is all on video, of $106.88. That's a misdemeanor. They charge this under city ordinance, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. How do you plead to that charge?
I don't remember being there on that day. However, if I was there and they have video, I feel like with everything that had happened prior to a couple of weeks ago with my domestic violence case, I think it just all goes hand in hand.
All right, there is a charge where you could plead no contest. By pleading no contest, you don't admit what happened, but you also don't deny what happened. And you allow or accept that a conviction would enter. This was
What does that mean?
well, I'll explain in a minute. See if this jogs your memory. You were in the store for 48 minutes. You scanned a comforter set that was worth $56.88, but you put a $5.96 tag on it. You scanned a $39 camera that didn't scan and 2 sodas. You paid for the sodas and the small blanket. You purchased $10.77 worth of stuff with a $20 bill, but the other items totaled $107, I think is what they said. 106.88. All right. One reason for pleading no contest is you don't have a memory of what happened. This happens sometimes in alcohol cases. Someone is drinking and driving, they hit a tree and they don't remember anything about it, and they wake up in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, I didn't say I didn't do it, I just don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's no contest. If you plead no contest, you don't admit what you did, but you also don't deny it. You would accept or allow that a conviction would enter. If you do plead no contest to this, I'm going to set it for sentencing at the same time as the domestic violence case.
What does sentencing look like?
I don't know, probably a fine, but you need some probation. Now, it also says you have a fraud charge out of Elkhart, Indiana.
Mm.
I also located a valid warrant out of Indiana for Brooks with Indiana pickup only. You have an open warrant for your arrest from the state of Indiana.
I'll make sure that I contact them.
So I want to know about that. So you have enough insight to know that you need help.
Mm-hmm.
So you've checked yourself in for psychiatric treatment. I want to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know about this Elkhart charge.
Okay.
I want to know if there's something else out here I don't know about.
Okay.
So you can plead no contest. You can also plead not guilty. If you want to plead not guilty to it, I can set it for further pretrial at a later date with an attorney. So if you plead no contest, I'll set it for sentencing with the other case on Wednesday. If you plead not guilty, I will set it for a pretrial and appoint a lawyer for you.
And how long will that be?
The next pretrial would be October 4th.
Okay, I'll just do no
contest.
or not guilty.
All right, not guilty. All right, that's fine. You can't go to Walmart.
Okay.
This is an open warrant. Arraignment. You're not guilty.
And then do I just contact them?
I'll give you the paperwork. Plead not guilty, appoint an attorney.
Okay.
That's attorney pre-trial for $10,500. 8:30. Recall warrant. Bond, $200 PR. May not enter Walmart.
Okay.
I saw on that paperwork you gave me that you got your prescriptions at Walmart.
No, I have my prescriptions at Walgreens.
Walgreens, all right, very good. You can go to Walgreens, you can go to Walmart.
Okay. And can I ask a question?
Yes,
So will I contact that warrant department and figure out what I need to do with them?
in Indiana?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, well, Elkhart County, yes.
okay,
I don't, that's all I know about it.
okay,
But they have a warrant for your arrest for some sort of fraud charge, but they didn't want to extradite you. So I don't know anything about what
Okay.
it's about.
I will definitely call them today and figure out what is going on there.
All right. I recall this incident. All right. We need to go out to the counter to post that PR bond. Now, they're gonna give you the attorney's name and number. I want you to call them.
Okay,
They're gonna get this police report, including this video. So you can see the video, and maybe that'll help jog your memory,
okay,
or maybe it'll show you didn't do it. I don't know, but
okay.
you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, so that's that. She can't go back to Walmart. Hey, Linus, I'm gonna give you the Florida experience for Walmart. Back in the '80s, Walmart was like every kind of dollar store, just kind of a general store. And by the '90s to 2000s, they were 24 hours a day, super centers, the greatest thing under the sun. By the mid 2015s, they're starting to get run down and never have enough employees. And then COVID hit. And so the 24-hour aspect went away, and they argued it was COVID. And then whenever COVID's over, they just stayed not open 24 hours a day. So while they were open 24 hours a day, they had my vote. As soon as you got to get out of there, by ours is 11 till 6 in the morning. That's the only time I want to go to Walmart. So they lost my vote there. Victoria says she's a Target girl. Yeah. I haven't found much use for Target. I know my wife likes to go over to Target. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and just plug Vicky's interview with Judge Fleischer again yesterday. I saw Psychodorus Rex on here. He or she, you never know on the internet. Who knows? He or she was involved in the interview and gave some perspective, and it was really interesting to see. It was really interesting to hear. Broke Baker got on there, and that was another good highlight of it. And they had some great questions for Judge Fleischer, and of course, he had great answers. And so, make sure you go there. I'll see if I can link it in the description again, like I did last night. But it was great. Mortimer Duke Meyer. We don't have any Meyer. If we had Meyer, we'd be calling it Myers. We have to add the in front of it or S at the end of it, so we can't have a store called Meyer. And so we're gonna go through there. Thank you for the Biggin raid. I really appreciate that. Biggin was awfully kind to do that. At 9, we're going to send everybody over to Drunk Beaver Productions. He's got a great election lawsuit thing and it's only about half an hour. It's not too long, but it's an interesting one to make it worth to go see. But we're going to do a news clip. In this news clip, I want Victoria to listen and kind of give some perspective on it because it's got to do with court administrators and how that works. So here we go with that.
Courtroom. A judge handling initial appearances at Pima County Consolidated Justice Court breaks the fourth wall and questions court staff after noticing a discrepancy with the court dates she had just set. News for Tucson's chief investigative reporter, Corus Nylander, is live outside Pima County Justice Court downtown with more on this unusual situation. And Corus, how did this controversy even come up?
Yeah, well, Sean, Judge Lisa Surhio is a Tucson City Magistrate judge, but she was here at Justice Court serving as a pro tem judge, helping out with initial appearances. Things were pretty routine until the public defender asked her for some clarity on a court date she had just set. Well, that's when things took an unusual turn.
Whoa, 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 wait a minute. You're changing the court dates I set? Okay, I'm ordering you not to change the court dates that I set.
It's not every day you see conflict between a judge and court staff. During initial appearances Wednesday night in Pima County Consolidated Justice Court, Judge Lisa Surhio had just finished seeing a defendant facing several felony charges related to drug possession. She had just set his next court dates. The public defender then asked for clarity.
Your Honor, really quickly, what was the Justice Court date?
That's when Judge Surhio learned the court staff had been ordered by supervisors to change the dates.
All right, I'm being informed for the first time on the record that the court dates that I set in Justice Court are being changed after I set them. Apparently, staff have been directed by their supervisors.
Judge Surhio then pointed out fears that some defendants may be getting arrest warrants for failing to appear at court dates they may not know were changed.
And the defendants are expecting to have court. They are not being informed of the court date that's being changed. They're not being informed of the new court date, which means that they're probably failing to appear and getting warrants, even though they had no notice whatsoever.
And that type of confusion can have really potentially devastating consequences for the defendant if they miss a court date.
Louis Fidel is an experienced criminal attorney in Pima County. He believes if the judge is accurate about no notice being given to the defendants, this is a serious issue.
Could be really, really a big problem for people. But then it all comes down to the question of notice, is do they get notice of the date that is getting entered into the system.
News 4 Tucson asked court officials that very question last week, but have not yet received an answer to the question. Granted, the courts were closed Monday for Labor Day. We reached out to Judge Surhio, who sent us a statement saying, quote, "I met with the Pima County Justice Court's presiding judge. The issue has been addressed and resolved. I do not."
So imagine getting a court date thinking that you're going to try to get out of whatever's wrong, only to find out that you ended up with a warrant because the court administrator did that. Victoria, kind of looking for your input there, because I can't. I see that Victoria is saying you'd give the date Judge Fleischer told you. According to the news report, their supervisor had told them different. I'm sure each area is different, but it seems to me like it'd be easy to just do what the judge says, and if something goes wrong, it falls on the judge, wouldn't it? I don't know. I know Friday in Judge Fleischer's court, that Mr. Frazier, the guy at the end, that was all the excitement. I know Stephen exerted some authority there, and that's important that the security staff can do that. They have a very important role to keep everyone safe in that courtroom, and Stephen's trained for that, and so it was good to see him do that. But the judge has got to run the show, and if you got the court administrator doing one thing and the judge doing something else, in the end, just like Jane's saying, Pima County inmates rejoice as hundreds of rulings are thrown out. Absolutely, I would do everything I could to find that way, and if any lawyer's worth a damn, they'd do it too. So, yep. It says Michael says actually Victoria double checks with the judge in some cases. She does. I hear her interrupt the judge all the time about that. Realistically, I pick the dates and handle the court schedule. Every court is different. Absolutely. All right, Vicky, I see that. I see that. My problem is I don't talk close enough to the microphone. I believe that's what my problem is. I'll get better with it. In the end, I don't like microphones. They're irritating to me. But if I want to do this, I got to play by the rules, right? But Victoria got there. Ultimately, it's the judge's court. They should decide. Yep, and we all agree Victoria does a good job. You know, we see her challenge the judge on a few things to just confirm things, and they work out. They work in a good team. Twitchy Stitch, I might like it if Steven put me in cuffs. And so, yeah, absolutely, Judge Fleischer can't remember the holidays. That I'm right there with him. It's hard for me to remember the holidays there. We're going to go to we got 34 minutes left. We're going to jump to a Judge Boyd one. And we're going to do that, and then we're going to go over to Drunk Beaver Productions. So here we go with that.
Defense.
Keith Engelke.
And are you Mr. Darren Kinsley Parker? All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Darren Kinsley Parker who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 4014 for the offense of unlawful carrying a weapon on prohibited places on June 23rd, 2022 for a period of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State.
Violated condition number 26 on or about the 10th day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Darren Kinsley Parker, failed to provide proof of permanent residence by COB March 10th, 2023 in violation of condition number 26.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
I'm guilty for that one.
No, you have to say true or not true.
True.
At state waives all the violations, Judge.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 26, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 26?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 26 true. Is there an agreement?
No, Your Honor. The state is recommending revocation, but I believe defense is asking for the defendant to be continued on his probation.
All right, defense, do you have any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
My client has moved to Waller County, as the court is aware, to seek employment, to get employment. He is trying to transfer his case to Waller County.
Did he have permission to go to Waller County?
He called his probation officer and he also spoke with the supervisor.
You want to call him as a witness to find out if he wants to tell the court that he had permission?
Please.
You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Darren Parker, Darren Kinsley Parker.
All right, defense?
Did you have permission from your probation officer to travel to Waller County?
Yes, and I had to give them an address when I got there.
How did you get permission?
Okay, I cannot understand a word you're saying.
Can I take my mask off?
Sure.
How did you get permission from your probation officer?
It was a verbal conversation when I called her and I spoke to her supervisor.
What did you talk about with the supervisor?
I basically was telling her about my situation here in Bexar County, about my living situation here. And they allowed me to move to Houston. There were certain things that happened with that address. So I kind of just ran into a situation where I had like no address to prove to the court. And I was staying at a hotel, sleeping in the car some days. I just went through a rough moment and I was working, but everything that I was trying to do, it wasn't working. So I saved up enough money and I—
Who was your officer in Houston?
I never applied the address to them, so I never seen an officer or anything like that yet.
All right, so that makes me suspicious of whether or not you had permission to go to Houston, because you would need to be supervised.
Yes, ma'am. I was still talking to Miss Aramis Parker, my probation officer here. And I came to court, showed up on a Zoom court here.
Do you want me to have Miss Parker zoom in to here to let me know whether or not you all had a conversation about you moving? Because I mean, we can have her zoom in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'll get Ms. Parker on if I may. To bring to your recollection as well, we did have a compliance hearing with Mr. Parker on Zoom. And he was to provide all of the information required per your instruction and just failed to do so. I will get Ms. Parker online real quick.
And I will tell you, I have here Mr. Parker in February. I write everything down. It says defendant to reside in month-to-month hotel and provide address by March 10th, 2023. Provide proof of employment at Jimmy John's. Defendant states employment is aware of his criminal history. And you need to provide proof of current hotel residence.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had approved travel February 22nd through March 10th, and you were allowed to transfer to Prairie View, Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
So were you not in Prairie View, Texas?
I was, but the hotel room that I was staying at, they said that their systems were down. So they gave me a written receipt. And when I submitted that to Ms. Parker, it just wouldn't hold up for proof. So I was trying to save money for an extended stay hotel. And instead I wound up saving enough money to get my own apartment. So I just really felt like, instead of—
Did you give them notice of your address at that apartment? That's either yes or no. Not to me.
No.
Did you give it to probation?
No, I sent my lawyer my deposit because I had to wait until the 1st of June to move in. He was waiting, my landlord was waiting for the tenant that was currently there to move out fully. So I sent Mr. Engelke my deposit that I paid. I believe that was— So I'm just trying to get the date.
But this motion to revoke was filed in April. So all this stuff that you're doing in June is neither here nor there.
Right. Ma'am, I'm sorry. I was unaware that I was had a motion to revoke in April.
No, what I'm telling you is what you're telling me, what you did after the motion to revoke. Yeah, that's great. But I gave you instructions that you were to provide information. Pardon? Yes, your probation officer is here.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Parker? No, what I'm telling you is what you're telling me what you did after the motion. All right, Ms. Parker, can you unmute? Information.
This is Officer Parker.
All right, so is there any objections to Ms. Parker appearing by Zoom?
None from the defense.
None from the state.
Thank you. All right, and I'll continue to hear what you're saying. All right, Ms. Parker? Excuse me, Ms. Parker. No, what I'm telling you is what you're telling. All right, you may continue. I think she's listening instead of, yes.
What part was supposed to be questioning? Sorry.
No, we're talking about you moving from place to place. You said Ms. Parker gave you permission to go to Houston.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Judge.
No problem.
When I stayed there, I ran into a situation there where I had to leave. So it made it very difficult for me to—
And the person who's on Zoom, Ms. Parker?
Yes,
That's
Judge.
the probation officer who you're saying gave you permission to go to Houston?
But she was aware that I was there.
Nope.
Yes, ma'am.
What you said is you talked to your probation officer, Ms. Parker, and she gave you permission to go to Houston.
Actually, her supervisor, because I had to talk to her supervisor, and her supervisor—
Do you really want me to put the supervisor on here? Because we will put the supervisor by Zoom on here.
I'm just being honest about what happened, ma'am.
Excuse me, Judge. She's sitting next to me if you'd like her to join in.
All right, thank you. So the supervisor's here. So you're saying the supervisor gave you permission to go to Houston?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions?
Just a copy of the receipt that you
That is.
would like to enter this into evidence.
Do you want to mark that or you just want the court to review it?
I'd like the court to review it.
All right.
Okay.
It provides an address.
This is not his signature on here. It says resident signature and it has it looks like the last name is Jones.
Yes, ma'am. I was incarcerated. So my landlord is aware that I was incarcerated. So he was able to still add my prior girlfriend to the lease so she could sign the lease so we can move in. I just was incarcerated, so I couldn't be home to sign it.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, I don't believe so.
State any questions?
No, nothing to say, Judge.
All right. So who is the person who you said gave permission for you to go to Houston?
I believe that the supervisor, the lady in the orange, I don't know her name. I apologize.
All right. All right. Any objection to her appearing by video?
No, ma'am.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, if you can lower your hand and state your name for the record.
Sherry Simonelli.
All right. Ms. Simonelli, did you give Mr. Parker permission to move to Houston?
Ma'am, I do not think so.
All right, so do you not think so or you don't know?
This is what I can recall of the conversation. I don't remember the date or the month. I remember he got me on the telephone. He was in crisis. He needed somewhere to go. I told him to go somewhere to be safe and to let his probation officer know where he was going to be after he was safely somewhere. So it was not a permission to move. It was permission to get somewhere to get safe.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No, Judge.
All right, Miss, any questions?
Can I tell you exactly? Can I tell you exactly what she said?
Well, no, we'll get back to you. Any questions?
No.
All right, Ms. Parker.
Yes,
Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes,
You
Judge.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Here, Ms. Parker.
All right, Ms. Parker, did Mr. Parker, who is no relation, I'm assuming,
No relation.
inform you of where he would be living in Houston?
No, ma'am. When he first called to say he had nowhere to go, we did tell him he did not have permission. He needed to get the judge's permission in order to transfer, move. And so because it was a crisis situation that he was telling us, we said, well, you're going to do what you need to do to be safe. So then once we had the compliance hearing, he was supposed to give us a address of where he was going to be at living. He had trouble with that. I think he gave us a handwritten receipt on a piece of paper. And we're like, this is not legit. So we never had confirmation on where he was living. I attempted to call the place at least 4 or 5 times, never could get through. So when we did the compliance hearing with you, I can't remember the dates that you gave him. By the close of business, he needed to have proof of the address. And he never gave us that. So still to this day, we never knew where he lived until I got an alert that he was arrested on Prairie View's campus for an assault. And then at that point, in that police report, it said the witnesses stated that he was living at that dorm or that apartment on Prairie View. So that's when I knew then I was like, okay, well, he wasn't even at the hotel. Now it was some, I don't know if it was the dorm, apartment or something on Prairie View, but once I got the alert that he was arrested for that assault charge, that's kind of where I knew where he was. So no, ma'am, I never had any proof till this day of any address that he was at since he left this county. Since he left Bexar County, excuse me.
All right, any questions? Defense?
How did you get the phone number for that address?
How did I get the phone number?
You said you made several phone calls that were not successful.
Yes, so it was, he gave me the name, and forgive me, I want to say it's Prairie View Inn or,
Right.
so I Googled the name. I want to say he maybe had the phone number on the written, and I can look it up real quick if you allow me, but I want to say it might have been a phone number on the written one, or a business card or something like that. But that's the number where we Google as far as online on what the number was. But that's all we had, because we were doing our due diligence and trying to get a verbal over the phone to say that he's living there, to at least give the judge something. So we weren't even required to do that. I was trying to help Mr. Parker by like, okay, you giving me this written note, let me go over and beyond and try to get a verbal over the phone. But we couldn't even get that because he never provided a legit receipt, something to state that he lived at this address. So we were actually doing due diligence, trying to get some type of somebody over the phone to state that he was residing there.
Ask me another question.
Yeah, sure.
You said you Googled Prairie View.
If that's the name, I can look it up. If I can go through my records, I'm saying the name, but that might be the wrong.
And you made a Google search, and was it successful?
The Google search on the
name that you can't remember right now.
It came up.
Okay.
It came up. So it was the name. If I'm saying the name correct, it was a hotel, and I believe he even zoomed from. No, he didn't zoom from. I take that back. I'm sorry. I believe I want to say he gave a business card. I can look it up, but I want to say the name was Prairie View Inn, but I could be totally wrong, sir. But I think that might have been the receipt that you have, but I can look up the handwritten one.
Okay, but so let me make sure I understand you. You did contact a hotel, a Google search with what you remember as the Prairie View Inn. That's my memory too.
Okay.
And that Google search was not successful.
When you say you
were not successful in getting an answer to your phone call.
Yes, I was not successful as getting a answer to my phone call. That's correct.
But you're able to make a call.
I was able to make the call, but it wasn't the right number. I do not know, sir.
So you had enough.
No one ever. I'm sorry.
So you had enough information from your Google search in order to make a call.
That's the furthest I got, is that the Google search gave me the name, gave me a phone number, but I do not know. I don't have confirmation if that was the correct phone number, the location, anything. It's just the Google search, yes, sir, brought up that information.
How many times did you call?
It was three times I called. Give me a sec. Okay. It was on March the 21st. We called at 9 o'clock. I called at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 1 p.m., and 2 p.m. And there was no answer for each attempt made.
Do you have any reason to believe that you would never receive a response to your call if you called on a different day?
I do not know if I would have called on a different day if I would have got a response, because I shouldn't have even had to call. It was his responsibility to give me the proof. So I was doing this out of just trying to help Mr. Parker. So I was never required to call. I was trying to help Mr. Parker out because it seemed like he was having difficulty getting me what was required of him. So if I was to call a different day, I don't know that answer, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that was on a Monday. That was on a Tuesday. So would it have been different? I don't know.
I would like to ask Mr. Parker a few questions.
Well, no. Any other questions for this witness?
No, Judge.
All right. If you all would just remain on just a few minutes, just in case someone has some more questions for you.
Yes.
Hey, Kimby, right there where it says we're not supposed to support other channels, but absolutely, absolutely, this channel, you can always support other channels. This is, it's what YouTube's about. The more we support each other, the better things are going to get. So we definitely need to support each other on these channels. Laurie, is another Florida guy, and but yeah. Well, there's a lot of great channels. There's plenty of them out there, and as long as they're trying to do the right things. I don't like the channels that want to make fun of people or put people down. That's just that's not the energy we want here. But it's always good to support other channels. So anytime you want to, throw them in there. So you're good with us.
You want to recall Mr. Parker?
Yes. Mr. Parker, where did you stay?
I was staying at right now, where do I live?
No, where were you staying?
I was staying at the Prairie View Inn.
Okay. And Were you having trouble getting in touch with the people there?
I was having trouble with them printing out a receipt because they said their systems was down. I was paying money. They written down, gave me a receipt basically paying what I paid. He wrote her a whole letter, and I knew that it was not a printed receipt that you would regularly get from a payment when you make it a hotel residence. But he was trying the best that he could, because I was honest with him about my situation, and I know that Judge wasn't playing games. She wanted me to get the address by a certain date. I tried my hardest, and everything I tried to do it wasn't working. It wasn't.
So you tried.
I tried hard.
Okay. No further questions.
All right. When were you staying at the Fairview Inn?
I can't remember the exact dates, but I know that I was staying there throughout the months of April and up to about April 26th, because I started having to sleep in the car because I was saving money for the apartment that I was trying to pay the deposit for.
What about the place? I'm not going to ask about the specific facts of your arrest, but where were you staying?
I can be honest about it. I'm not going to lie to the judge. I'm not going to lie to the courts. I was actually in the car. So some days, I just felt like I can't keep paying day by day. I was paying about $85 a day trying to stay inside the hotel. So I felt like, honestly, I make $12.50 an hour. So I'm trying to save money so I can pay for the deposit, pay for the first month's rent. And I didn't want to get my girlfriend kicked out of school. So I felt as though if I give, her address to the courts, that she would get kicked out of school. So I really was trying to not put her, dorm address as this court, because I really don't know if it would have happened or not, but I was just trying to protect her and her school. So I wasn't trying to give y'all that address. I was trying hard to just get a receipt for the address for the hotels. Everything I did, it didn't work. So I don't know, it's just I'm like, well, let me try to get an apartment. I started searching for an apartment. I wound up finding an apartment. I was just trying my best to do everything that I could to get the address, but I failed.
Any other questions?
I have nothing to say, Judge.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Is the apartment that you finally got to, is that the apartment on the lease?
Yes.
No further questions.
And the person listed on that lease, is that the girlfriend?
That's my girlfriend. Yes, ma'am.
How old is she?
She is 23.
All right, and how old are you?
I'm 30.
All right, does she have any children?
No.
And is she in college?
Yes.
Did you tell her about your criminal history?
She knows that I have had a past. Yes,
no, does she know your criminal history?
That's
either yes or no. So why are you going into a relationship with her being untruthful? Do her parents know that she's staying with you, a person who has this criminal history?
But they don't know about my criminal history. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right, so basically you live in a double life with them.
Yes, speak your own.
No, let me finish asking my questions.
No, they know I've been in trouble. I have been honest about it. She knows that I have been in trouble. She knows.
How did you meet her?
Just when I stayed in San Antonio, I had a homeboy, and he used to date his sister. So honestly, I met that way. We really was just friends at first. We wasn't, we didn't even like each other like that. We were just, I'd go to the bar or something with them, and we kind of just started to hang out through that, just chilling with them.
And honestly, I'm just asking these questions because I'm trying to figure out, why would you, somebody who's trying to get their college degree, why would you drag them down with your baggage and you haven't even solved your baggage?
She was aware of the charges that I had. It's just, I guess we just...
No, you told me she wasn't aware of your entire criminal history.
Oh, I thought you were just speaking about like my past, not this.
Yeah, I mean, your criminal history. That's something somebody should know.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I had a conversation with her about this case. She knows I was on
No,
probation.
your entire criminal history.
I talked to her about a lot of things.
Your entire criminal history?
Yes, the important things I did tell her, you know, I talked to her about it.
Your entire criminal history.
No, sorry.
All right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What I can tell you is I've tried with you and I've read through the court's file the number of times that I've worked with you on your address. And I'm not paying any attention. I see these other allegations that are in the motion. I'm not even paying attention to those. But since you're here before me, have you been using marijuana since the first time when you were admonished not to use marijuana?
Yes, ma'am. And I was asked to do a drug class. I needed help. I'm not even gonna lie. I kept on smoking. I was being disobedient. Miss Parker.
Disobedience is what a child does. You were violating the court's rule and your contract with the court.
Yes, ma'am.
And now you're before the court, I think, asking for mercy when you have done nothing. Name one thing that you've done on probation that's been asked of you.
I've been doing stipulations to complete my community service. I got
How many community service hours have you done?
Well, I had things in here that they asked me to get a COVID vaccination.
No, my question is, how many community service?
I believe I want to say 40 of them.
Okay, so you've done community service hours. What else have you done?
The MRT course, I completed that.
Which hasn't helped, because that's the moral recognition training, a therapy course. And that's supposed to be teaching you what you should have learned in first grade and kindergarten, that you're supposed to do right by people and follow rules. So that didn't help. So what else have you done?
I don't know, ma'am. I've had a hard time.
So that's all you've done.
I also was trying to wait for Miss Parker to give me more information about the parenting class. I never received information about if I could.
Well, nobody knows where you're living. You're transient.
This was when I was still in Bexar County, man. Like, it's things that we talked about in the office that I was waiting for her to do.
And Miss Parker's going to address that issue.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Miss Parker.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Parker went through orientation. At orientation, they give him a copy of the classes that he has to take. During his first appointment, he was provided a handout of the classes that he needed to take for parenting. For his probation, he's completed a substance abuse evaluation, and that is about it. We did sign him up for outpatient treatment. However, he could not complete that because he left the county. So that was pretty much an unsuccessful discharge because they're not doing that via Zoom. And I think the counselor was trying to work with it, but it couldn't work that way because they don't do it via Zoom. So as far as his on his felony case, he's only completed I want to say it's the substance abuse evaluation, but the parenting, he has been giving information multiple times on where he can complete that parenting. On that.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Something about that? She supposedly gave me info.
Here's the thing. Okay. You are putting off what you are responsible for on everybody. Your girlfriend who's in college, who's trying to live her life, it's her responsibility to be on the lease because maybe you can't be on the lease because you're in jail or you have criminal history. I clearly put in here that you were to do parenting classes, which tells me you have children.
Yes, ma'am.
No contact with strip clubs, which tells me there's an issue with you in strip clubs. And I don't know if that's the politically correct. I would say no contact with places where people take off their clothes for money.
And I haven't been in one.
All right. Yes. So basically you haven't done what the court has asked for you. I'm going to give you a choice. Sometimes I can give people choices. Sometimes I can't. And you're going to be languishing because you have this assault that's out of county court, another county court. It's in another county. Do we know what's happening on that?
No, Judge.
Well, then I can't give you a choice. Yes.
I've talked to the girlfriend who is the victim in the assault case, and she's told me that she does not want to testify.
Oh, and let me ask you, this girlfriend, is this the girlfriend who's in college?
Yes, ma'am. But can I say something, ma'am? That situation, I was protecting myself. That's why she doesn't want to testify.
Well, you all shouldn't be together.
It shouldn't be happening.
All right. I don't even understand that. Again, with regards to you and your girlfriend who's in college, she hasn't even met you yet. She's just been meeting your publicist because nobody knows who you really are. You didn't tell her parents about your entire criminal history. She doesn't know about your entire criminal history. And you're sitting around using marijuana. I don't know if you're using marijuana on campus with her or not, but you're dragging her down because you don't have your life together. And I've given you chance after chance with regards to your address. I do. My mind is a steel trap. I remember the Zoom with you at the hotel room and me telling you, this is what we need from you. And the probation officer is right. They had no duty to pick up the phone and try to call places for you. That was all on you. Probation officers are underpaid and they have hundreds of people that they're supervising. And they can't handhold everybody because you're an adult. It would be different if this is juvenile court or they're dealing with babies. With babies, you gotta keep them on task. You're supposed to be on task and you're not. No less than 4 or 5 times I had compliance hearings for you. We addressed the issues with your address and you didn't do what was asked of you. That's a problem. Do you have the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal?
No, I do not.
All right, you need to grab that and have your client sign it. Mr. Parker, I've given you many chances. There's just nothing else that I can do. I've had you before me on numerous occasions where I have tried to solve the issue with your address and you just have not followed through. At some point, there's nothing else that can be done.
Sorry, can I say something now, please?
Sure.
From the heart. I just really was trying everything I could to get you your address proof. I really was. I just really was having a hard time getting it, man. Like, my last option was to continue to try to do the thing with the hotel and continue for them to tell me they can't, give me proof that was acceptable.
But I mean, here's the thing. You've told me that you've been smoking marijuana, so you're just sitting around smoking marijuana. And moving into a dorm or moving onto dorm or college property without the college knowing. There are other people with children at Prairie View. They don't want you on campus, at least not knowing that you're on campus. And I will tell you this, the lease that's signed where it's your girlfriend's names that's down and then your name is sort of put in there, but not put in there.
Mine is the first one up there, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No. I saw it. But what I'm telling you, that was going to end up causing you problems in the long run because your name shouldn't have been on that lease because of your criminal history.
Sorry, ma'am. Can I please let you know? It was like it wasn't no background history. I had a private land order. I went to the last option I could get. I paid $725 a month, all bills paid. It was like everything around there was kind of like just last option. I tried my hardest. I saved that money. I called the guy. She didn't help me with that apartment. Only why she's on the lease is because I was locked up. That's why it's the slash up there. He added her because to move in, someone had to sign the lease. It was just me on the lease. Man, I was trying to get y'all address as fast as possible. I know I didn't do it in a timely manner.
No, it's not timely because.
And then the lady from my other court, she gave me until August 26th to prove her something. I just thought that y'all was in communication. I got him the address before even that court date. I was really just trying to get into an apartment. I wasn't trying to disobey you with just saying, forget her, I'm not going to get her an address. I just really had a very, very hard time getting the address. And I wasn't trying to keep prolonging like I talked to Mr. Engelke when I was out in Prairie View. I told him, I said, I just went on called the landlord, saved some money, and got me an address. I really was trying, man. It's not like I did wrong. I know I'm wrong. I went to the drug classes. I was trying. This address situation, it really, it sounds simple, but what I was going through, it just was not simple. I
All
can't
right,
blame
probation,
anybody.
what is your recommendation? Probation, what's the probation recommendation? All right. All right, the court is finding you guilty. The court will grant the motion, not grant you community supervision. The court will sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, showing you what's entitled trial court certification. I'm sorry, counsel. Here you go.
I'm sorry.
Why are you reaching through the wire, counsel? I'm showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
I don't know what it is. No.
Counsel, did you go over the trial court certification of his rights to appeal?
Yes, I explained it to him.
All right, Mr. Parker, you have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion that you pled true to, not the fact that you are deferred. Do you understand? All right, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. All right, thank you. Good luck to you.
Hey everybody, somebody was promoting other channels in here. I forgot to mention my favorite one, Court Vibes. Every morning Court Vibes does a show around 4:15 or 4:30 from what I'm told. My goal is to get up before she's done with it. I'm always on the replay crew. But definitely watch Court Vibes. She's got a great attitude and she shows some great court and just a good hang and a great crowd to be a part of. Whenever I started doing the YouTube stuff, I started paying attention to her. She's kind of the inspiration of what got me in doing this. I knew I wanted to do something, but seeing how much fun she was having definitely made me bring that up. 4:30 Eastern time zone. But definitely watch it. And then she's a team player too. This morning she's even playing one of my lives from the other day. So I'm just saying, it's all friendly here, and we share any way we can. Kathy's great. She works some crazy hours, and 4:15 is about the time that she does her show, and it works for her. So 4:15 in the morning Eastern time, and she does it damn near 7 days a week. So I don't know what days she's off, but I know whenever my goal is to wake up before she's off in the morning. So certainly check it out. Getting ready to push everybody over to Drunk Beaver Productions. He's got a cool court case, and I don't want to mess that up. So we're going to send y'all over. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Thank you, everyone.